Hit it.
Meet me at the intersection. It's time to make a great connection. Faith, fun, and family meet. So come on in and take a seat at Sundays at the intersection. Woo. Hey, it's Cake and Chicken. Stacy, I'm so glad you came tonight.
Okay, it's gonna be
Forward to
good.
tonight.
Yes. Remember, Stacy's been feeling really lonely and low lately.
I had heard about that. I'm
Yes.
so glad she came tonight, though.
Yes, she's here, so do what you can to make her feel light, make the mood good when you enter that room.
I can do it. All right. This is going to be great. Look forward to it.
What up? What's kicking, chicken? Hey, Stacy. I'm so glad you came tonight.
And the fly says, "Do you mind? I'm trying to eat here."
It's a good one.
At
least
so
it's
gross
clean.
and so good. Can you tell me about how this meeting is going to go? I know it's at 6:30. Where are we going to be?
Yeah, 6:30 in the conference room.
Got it.
It's gonna be good. Can you start with a few jokes? I want to start with kind of a light, fun presence.
I have a good, clean one to start with. I'm very excited.
Please, yes, clean. Okay,
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes! Good morning, everybody! Are you ready to have a good time?
Whew. It's getting to be close to time.
I know. You're gonna be good. I know you get nervous.
I know. I just, my stomach always gets a little upset. I'll be okay.
I know, but you're gonna
So
do
just-
great. Just be
just,
yourself. Have fun. Get the kids energized, happy, and excited.
Okay, so just,
You can do this, Lise.
okay, countdown's coming.
All right. Deep breath.
All right, I'll be fine.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that gives you an up close and personal look at the way things go on around here.
Yes, it does.
But it's important for you all to realize that there are multiple layers and stories behind every situation out there, things that you may not realize.
Yeah, I mean, when you do ministry things at Northside, sometimes Christy and I get to do them together, and I'm typically the noisy one, the one that's out front a little bit.
You're a little louder than me.
Just a little bit. But hopefully these kind of fun little vignettes show you that Christy's the backbone of it all. She's the one that plans it. She's the one that makes sure that it follows through, which is not my forte. I mean, even though during this COVID-19, Christy's forced herself to be in front of the camera more, which has been good. But again, backbone and the planner.
Well, thanks, Lise.
You're welcome.
I've definitely had to get used to being in front of the camera. It's not my favorite thing. I don't like it. I prefer the planning and all the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, which is great because I tend to hate planning, not my cup of tea.
But those differences, I think, is something that helps make our friendship work
Yeah.
and helps make our partnership and ministry work. And actually, I think that there may have been some differences among some of the disciples.
Yeah, the disciples were different, but all very necessary, for sure.
So let's talk about
Peter and Andrew.
Bible story! Yeah.
Okay, Peter and Andrew.
Another good story.
It is, and a great example of what you see and what you don't see. So let's dive in. Lisa, tell us about Peter and Andrew.
Well, you know a lot about Peter. We've talked about him. We've talked about how passionate and impetuous, and he puts his foot in his mouth a lot of times. Impulsive. I can relate to him a little bit. He's who you see in the stories, and he's who Jesus had confidence in. He's who the church was built on. That's great. Yeah. But we're bringing this story up because people may not realize that without Andrew, who knows how long it would have taken for this story to come forward, because Andrew was Peter's brother and the quiet one. And people may not realize this, but Andrew knew about Jesus first. Andrew had been following and listening to John the Baptist, who you also may have heard, who, by the way, was Jesus' cousin. Don't forget about that. And John the Baptist would tell people that the Messiah was coming. He would tell them who Jesus was. People would sometimes believe him, sometimes not. Andrew then went and followed this man named Jesus, realized, again, let me say, he knew, first one to know, this is the Messiah. And go to the Gospel of John. Go to the book of John in the New Testament. Very first chapter, go to the end and start at verse 40. And it says, Andrew went and got Peter and brought Peter to Jesus. And then we start to read about how that amazing relationship between Peter and Jesus started. But it was Andrew's invitation and his persistence, his quiet persistence and his planning that he knew this was something that needed to happen. And if it weren't for Andrew, what you don't typically see in the scripture, who knows if Peter and the power of the church would have happened. So we just want you to remember that, because something we've talked about a little bit is that when you hear these stories, you might find yourself saying, what a great story, but what's that have to do with me? I'm not old enough. I'm not powerful enough. I'm not courageous enough. I'm not brave enough. I'm not
different
talented.
from this person.
I'm
I don't have
different.
these.
I'm not seen. It doesn't matter. If there's anything that you can take from all these stories that we tell you, hopefully you see that God is the God of the seen and unseen.
Yes,
and there's
love it. Preach it, girl.
power and both. And there is a place for you. And who knows all the wonderful things you've done and the quiet and steady work that you're doing. I just love it. And Andrew and Peter are amazing.
Great story. Thanks, Lisa.
The summary.
Whether you are an Andrew or a Peter or someone in between, God's love, purpose, and work includes you. Without Andrew, there'd be no Peter. He was an important part of the story, just like you are. So whether you're a behind-the-scenes person or someone who likes to be up front, it doesn't matter. You are a necessary piece to that puzzle that's God's complete picture and story for our lives. So until we see you again, dream big, trust huge, and love all the time. All right, so I have a great idea for Wednesday nights this summer.
Lay it on me.
Our summer curriculum is going to be an ice cream curriculum.
Yes.
And so
love it.
I know. So the idea is, at the end of the summer, we'll have an ice cream party.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Here's my question for you.
All right.
How do you feel about wearing an ice cream cone costume? You'll be an ice cream cone. It's funny.
Really?
Yes.
All right. I'll do it, but only if I can throw sprinkles.
Hit it.
Meet me at the intersection. It's time to make a great connection. Faith, fun, and family meet. So come on in and take a seat at Sundays at the intersection.